So what you're saying is you use this browser, DuckDuckGo, so you can't be tracked?
Yeah, because you know Google traces everything you search and Google for and stuff like that. If you use DuckDuckGo, you put the app on your phone, and I use that as my default setting now. So when I search anything on the web, you can't be tracked or traced with it. And it tells you if they just blocked Google from trying to track your search and that.
Oh, they'll alert you as when Google is trying it?
Yeah, that's why when I was trying to come on here for this thing, that was saying DuckDuckGo is blocking your camera and microphone from this StreamYard trying to access it.
Well, we seem to have gotten that straightened out. Now you're wearing.
Yeah, I switched it back to Safari default for the show.
Oh, for us. So now you're wearing a what are you wearing? Ah, Victory.
Sergio's shirt.
Is that a shirt with a vest on it?
Yeah.
Or is that a print on? Oh, that's so cool. It looks three-dimensional from here.
It looks real, doesn't it? It looks like I'm
wearing it does. On camera, it does.
I'm going to war with the protesters. Backs out.
Yeah, Bonnick is out.
Even though that's got nothing to do with politics, but I'm just thinking, how could you not, with all the shit going on in the world with travel and that, how could you not plan to come at least a couple of weeks before the fucking Arnold Classic?
Especially when you're like the favored, to win it.
Mm-hmm. And that's like what's that, like 100,000 odd or more?
More, yeah. When you, I think it's way more. And plus, are they still doing the? I don't know if they're still doing a vehicle. I don't know if they're still doing that, but no. I think it's just money and the watch. That watch is pretty expensive.
Yeah, that'll be. Yeah, but it's going to have to get here soon because the Olympia isn't it the week after, and he's coming for the Olympia.
It's 2 weeks after.
Oh, it's 2. Well, you better hurry up and get it. I was watching that show. I watched the show with Jimmy and Greg and I on today, and that guy's arms with the oil. Oh my God! Just that boil, that big lump of scar tissue sitting up on his arm. I was like, and nothing again. I'm sure he's a nice guy and he's funny and blah blah blah. But when you look like that, and you've been telling me you've been training since you're fucking 8 years old. You love going to the gym. That's great, but you're not going to be a bodybuilder. And if you got to do that to yourself, take up fucking darts because that's just ridiculous. You've been training since 8. He said he's 43. I swear to God, he looked like he was 68. It's like, oh, he looks terrible. And just his arms look so inflamed and red. And, it's just, oh.
And did you hear he wants to compete?
How's that going to look?
Okay, wait.
I've never seen anyone like that diet down. What happens when someone like that diets down?
That's a good question. We've never. Well, that one Iranian guy was pretty lean. The guy that just actually split apart and died. Remember that guy? Oh, yeah. He was pretty lean, but he was just a giant piece of scar tissue. But this kid, this guy, he says he wants to compete next year. And so you're a bodybuilder, you're backstage, you're competing, you got that mindset, right? You're backstage, you're ready to go out. You know how you are, okay? Mm-hmm. You're pumping up. Back and try to picture this, okay? You're backstage, you're pumping up, getting ready to go out, your competitive game face you're on, right? Uh-huh. You look over and you see him pumping up.
Hold on, I just got to put 4 more cc's in. I'm almost pumped ready.
But I mean, doesn't that make you just like what the fuck?
But I'm just thinking though, if you took all that out of his arms, what would they really look like? At least Greg, we saw his physique before he ever started putting his test and that in his arms. He had a good physique. But this guy, I'm thinking, training since 8, his forearms look like he's never lifted a weight. I couldn't see anything else on him, but he didn't look actually. He said he's 6'1" and 260. So I'm thinking he looked pretty bulked up and heavy. So he's probably 200 pounds if he dieted down. He'd probably be the normal normal weight of a normal guy, 6'1" with no muscle.
Well, you know the Russian kid who only did his biceps.
Mm-hmm.
Remember the slap contest?
Yeah.
You saw that. So I always, it's kind of a metaphor. You think of that, him getting slapped, you know, for the giant arms. So anyway, you know, it's to me, it's the most ridiculous thing, you know.
Yeah.
And people compare it to, you know, boob jobs and, you know, plastic surgery and whatnot. And it's really not, you know, there's no.
This looks like surgery from the TV show Botched.
There you go. It's exact. Yes, with some degree of plastic surgery, there's art, there's an artistic element to it. You know, you're, you know, shaping and beautifying. This is just, it's like the girls getting the ass shots, you know. It's like it's lumpy and shit. It doesn't matter. It's big.
Yeah,
you know?
we used to have an artist in Australia called Pearl Hart. He actually he was a famous painter. He actually gave me a Bible and he actually painted flowers on it and signed it. Wished I could find it. Might be worth money today. But Pearl Hart is a famous Australian painter and he did a lot of his stuff. And they used to just throw paint, you know, one of those, just fucking throw it at the canvas. That's what he looks like. Someone just got clay. He got Michelangelo sculpting David in the corner. Right. He got some fucking crackhead retard over here going, look at that. It's beautiful.
But like as Greg was saying on the show, you know, that's what he wants to do. But when you decide you're going to compete, then that's, I look at competition like this. You don't enter a Formula One race to see if you can parallel park, right? You whatever you enter, you're entering it to win. Otherwise, why go, right? This idea, I want to see how well I do. I want to see if I can, you know, I can see if I can place. I want to see if I can crack the top 10. If that's your attitude, you're doing the wrong thing. You got to go to win, right? So, I mean, did you ever go competing like for anything less than number one? I can't picture you doing that.
Well, I never really thought about one. I always trained like I was going to win, but you know, I mean, I was always a realist with politics and judging and how much trouble I caused. That technically I knew I was never sometimes going to win. So I just went in there training and dieting like if it was all fair, I could win, but chances are I probably won't. But then I'd always try and look my best. So if I did, when I got second or third or fourth, the crowd would boo, which they did, because they'd be like, well, fuck, why didn't Lee win? Look at fucking Lee. So I always made it obvious that there was politics at play if I didn't win. So,
But my point is you didn't go to not win. I mean, your mindset is win, right? I mean.
Well, you saw that in that Olympia I did in 2003 when I had the long hair. I didn't want to compete in that. I was eating McDonald's, but I had to do it because I signed the contract. And you saw how I looked in that show. I was just like, yeah, I'm just going to do it.
All right, last place. Somebody's got to go.
Yeah, but at 43 and doing that to your arms and that, it's like, you can't go on stage and competing looking like that with that in your arms. It's like, as I said, I'm sure he's probably a nice guy and he's whatever, but to do that, there's got to be something. Like bodybuilders are pretty as it is, you know, because we take the steroids, we push our bodies to the limit, we want to look a certain way. But to take that step where you're just putting injections in your arms of oil, where your arms just look grotesque and not like muscle, that's like those women, like that. Who was that woman who did a face and she looks like a cat now, where women just go too far with the lips and all that sort of stuff. It's like you can get a little bit and look nice and beautify, like I said, shape your cheekbones and stuff. But then you get the ones that go to the extreme where it looks like they've been punched in the lips by Tyson and their eyes are all pulled back super tight. It's like, that's just a whole another level of fucking, I don't know what.
And they have 80 other things done to themselves, tucked and pulled and play. But you know, that becomes an addiction. I mean, you know, people can say tattoos, you know, or you know, why would you do that? But that's different. You're getting tattooed as an expression. You're not using it as a competitive means, or you're not. It's like a girl with the fake ass doing, you know, wellness or, you know, physique. You know, that's what you're being judged on. So,
well, I could even understand it if you did the oil, and when you put the oil in, like it still looked like your bicep. Like if I put 20 cc's in here and it just looked like my bicep shape still, but just bigger, I could maybe understand that. Like when women get breasts, if they don't go too big, you can still make them look like natural breasts without going into the big, huge range. But so I can understand if you could do the oil and put it in your tricep and you could still have the horseshoe and it still look like muscle, maybe then. But when you just put it in and your arms, like, look at his arms. They had the big lump here, they were here. The tricep just hung this way. There was just, look, like I said, there's just no shape to it. It just looked like someone put fucking, if I got a plastic bag and filled it with custard and fucking shook it around like that. It's like,
yeah, it's like throw it in there and see where it lands. You know, it's like there's no rhyme or reason to
shake the bag of custard and then throw it in the freezer and then pull it out and see what shape you got. Well, that looks okay. That's fucking good. That'll be my arm.
Slap that on. You know.
I just don't get it. It's just like, and like I said, competing with it. What judge is going to place you when you come out with arms like that?
Place you last. That's where they place you. Well, anyway, that's not political. So we probably should.
It will be political. It will be political when he goes to compete and doesn't place. You'll say it's political.
Yeah, but you and I will get accused of talking bodybuilding, and then that'll be people.
Well, where do we start though? Look at we could always start with the whipping of the Haitians.
Yep, whipping Haitians on horseback. From back worse than slavery, according to Maxine Waters.
You know who I can't stand.
You're right. You know, there's that. There's so many things. It's like, where do you even? That's as good a place as any. But
we got what's the name? Remember that one I told you about, Joy Reid, where we got this missing white girl syndrome.
Yeah,
missing white girl syndrome. That Joy Reid, she's as bad as Sharpton, the race baiter.
Yeah.
She's like, they don't make a fuss like this when a black girl goes missing or a person of color or brown goes missing. It's like, they don't do it when just normal white people go missing either. Hundreds and hundreds of white girls, white men go missing every day. It's the circumstances here. This couple is traveling around America or doing whatever, being on social media. There's a police call and you see the vest where the police go and they see that there's some domestic violence going on the trip and you see the cameras on their vest and they're talking to her, talking to him. Okay, tonight, just go your separate ways. You stay in a hotel and you stay this. And then they go back off on their trip to the national park somewhere. Then all of a sudden he comes home in her car. She's nowhere to be found. He doesn't say anything for 10 days, not saying where she is. And then his parents don't say anything. And then he disappears. This is a totally different
story. And then they found her body. Then they found her body.
Yeah.
And then he disappeared. Yeah.
This isn't like just a person going disappearing. Because I'm sure in America today, probably hundreds of white girls just vanished and disappeared or went to work and didn't come home, or maybe they just wanted to piss off and leave, or they're just hiding somewhere. So for her to say, we have a name for this, it's called missing white girl syndrome. I'm like, I've never heard of this before.
You know, these people, these Hollywood loonies, I think what they try to do is they're all embroiled in this little bubble. You know, you were in LA, you know what it's like. It's their world, you know, and they stand out in their world by being the most out there, the most ridiculous, outrageous, you know. So that's what they're doing. And look at movies over the last year. How many movies in movie theaters were made for us? They're terrible. They're all these message movies, and
I just started watching a TV show now on Prime called Cruel Summer, and it's not bad. But in it, they're starting to hint that, you know, this woman it's hard to explain the show, but in it we have the white mother, white daughter marries this black guy who's an ex-football player, famous. He has a black daughter, and through different scenes, she's like, "You don't know what it's like to come up like me. You've been with your white privilege and this," and then in other scenes, her best friend runs a video store and she walks in and catches him kissing this guy. That's okay if that's who you are. It's like, why are we going to put all this in it? It's like because you can see it's just they're putting it in there to appease people. Right. But even like I said, this Joy Reid is talking about the missing white woman syndrome. She's like, you never hear about when black people go missing. How long is this Joy Reid, who's paid God knows how much. She's probably a millionaire. She's on MSNBC, has her own TV show talking about you never see black people on TV when they go missing. You have your own show, you stupid bitch. Why aren't you putting missing black people on your show then?
Yeah,
you have your platform. You've had this show for years talking shit. All you do is talk shit about the white people. You could be putting on your show every night. Tonight in Chicago, these people are missing. Please look out for them. And they don't do it themselves. She has her own show talking about how these people are not put on TV, and she doesn't put them on.
That's classic liberal hypocrisy. I mean, just look at Nancy Pelosi's got to have a wall around her house, a wall around the Capitol. She's got to be behind the wall, but all the walls are no good. You know, it's that whole Gavin Newsom dining among his friends in at the French Laundry without a mask while he's telling his constituents you can't go have Thanksgiving dinner. You know, it's that kind of dual plane, edicts that are good for us but not for them, But one of the things that's really bothered me this week is you touched on it with the whipping of the horses, but in general, the general border situation is, they're not talking about it, and what I was trying to think of as an immigrant, when you came to America, you went through the front door, you got your visa, green card, citizenship, the whole thing, right? So it looks to me like the Democrats are promoting the idea, if you're poor, if you have nothing, if you're from a shithole country with absolutely nothing to offer, come jump the fence. If you have something to offer, if you have some merit to bring about you and to bring something positive to America, you have to go through the front door and wait 7 years and go through the whole thing. But if you're absolutely fucking worthless, just jump the fence. We'll take you in. How does that make you?
I don't even think there's a fence there anymore in some areas, is it? They're just coming across that part of the river. And did you see the amount there under that bridge and all the other places? And like I said, they aren't even Mexicans now to eat shit. I can't even say it sometimes. Asians. They're more coming from other countries that aren't Mexico. And did you see when they took over that bus? And then the next video I saw, they're at the airport, they're beating up the pilots of the plane and shit. Yeah. And they're just putting them on buses. That one guy filmed, he flew into, forget McAllen, it could have been McAllen Airport, Dallas. And he's in there and he's filming in the airport. He goes, look at all these people. They've all got different envelopes. Some have blue, some have green, some have red. All at the gates, all illegals waiting to be flown to different parts of America.
Yeah. Yeah, they're flying them to different parts of America. Well, they said they're
unvaccinated.
I was getting to that. Not only unvaccinated, unvetted and unvaccinated. I don't give a shit about the vaccine. As far as I'm concerned, the vaccine is pointless. But the fact that they're not being tested for COVID, that we don't know if they're bringing disease, or not only COVID, any disease, they're not being screened, they're not being vetted, they're just being released. So they're saying that they're deporting these Haitians back to Haiti. Problem is, it's a bunch of bullshit, because none of them came from Haiti. They were in South America. They were living there for decades. All right. So now the Haitians come pouring to the border because they got invited by somebody's transporting them there. They didn't just walk, because you don't end up walking 3,200 miles.
Someone's making money, and that's the thing too. They said now with all this, there's so many smugglers involved in here, drug smugglers, cartels, trafficking with like kids and sex workers. There's just so many coming in. They're overwhelmed. And like you said, you go on some of the media stations like these top ones, CNN, nothing.
Well,
where's Kamala? Isn't Kamala Harris in charge of the?
She wants an investigation now, because when she saw the Haitians getting whipped, by which was completely not what happened. When she saw the ICE agents doing their job, that needs an investigation. Now all of a sudden she's awake and seeing what's going on. But now people pouring across the border, infected, unvetted, possibly terrorists from other countries like the Middle East. She does not even there, doesn't care. I've been to the border. She's never been to the border. But you know, you put a Haitian, you know, at the under end of a horse, and now she wants an investigation. She's all over.
And you watch the video, the riders are just riding. They got the long reins, and they've even said that's how they control the horses. Yes, the reins go out and stuff, but they're just moving the horses to block these people running away. But then I heard today they're going to take the horses off them now. They're going to take the horses away from these agents.
Oh my God! It never ceases coming.
It's a mess down there. I mean, like a mess.
It's a mess, and it's a humanitarian disaster. And now, you know, it's going to get cold. You know, what are these people going to do? And you know, these people that hate Trump had this wasn't going on when Trump was there. No. This was completely the opposite. There was nobody waiting at the fence when Trump was in there. They had to wait in Mexico. They couldn't come in. Border was closed. You could only come in through the front door. Now look. Now it's an unmitigated disaster. Disaster.
What do those people think? Like I said, okay, if they hated Trump that much for whatever reason, I don't know, but they hated him. But when they truly sit down and go back to when he was in president, and let's just take that, just the border itself. Okay, let's look when he was in this presidency. Hardly no one come in, this and that. To the chaos now in less than, 7 months has Biden been in or something or whatever. When you look at that, just that alone, do they say, oh shit, did we make a mistake here? Or what's the hell's Biden doing? You know, if that was Trump, oh my God, it would be fucking every news station. Everywhere. It would be playing and oh.
But we not only have that. We not only have that. We have the growing criminal investigation into his son with leaked emails left and right that implicate him like crazy. All right. You've got the fact that now he's completely screwed up our energy program, so that now instead of a net exporter of oil, now we have to import it again. We're giving money to Iran. Afghanistan was another unmitigated disaster, the way he pulled out of there. You know, so he's like, you know, King Midas. Everything he touches turns to gold. We got King Biden here. Everything he touches turns to shit because he's been on the wrong end of everything. Name one thing he's done right. There is.
Even have you seen his speeches from the UN over the last few days? Blah, 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 blah. And stuttering like the world.
He's got issues everywhere in the world. And what's he talking about? Climate change and the virus. You know.
But that's the thing. Is like that's all they're reporting on. Like I said, you've got Afghanistan's gone quiet now. The border crisis they're not talking about. Like you said, petrol prices. There's so much shit happening in America, and they're just reporting on how wonderful his speeches are.
Right.
And he sounds like an idiot. It's like the world's laughing at him. Sky News here's just making fun of his speeches and the way he's slurring and carrying on with shit. I'm like, oh my God.
Sky News is just such a wonderful resource when you want to feel good about something bad that Biden's doing, because they do such a great job.
And now even what's her name's been getting aggro lately. You've seen Psaki when they ask her about the border questions. She's been getting aggro.
Yeah, she's been getting a little testy, hasn't she?
That fiery redhead's coming out, you know.
Yeah, I guess she's a little angry, you know. But it's odd that you can't find anything just cognizant coming out of a liberal. Did you hear AOC talking about? He won't say the word woman. She says menstruating person.
Yes, menstruating person.
Menstruating person. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So meaning that apart from women, I guess other people can menstruate.
But so the guy says, well, what do you mean when only women menstruate? She goes, no. She cut him off. Like, we have to be very careful about the words we use as to not exclude certain people. We have to be inclusive of
who are we excluding?
Guy's like, yeah, but only women menstruate.
You can think you're a woman. You can be a trans man turned into a woman and transvestite, a transsexual, You can even go be a man and have the operation, but still, you're not going to menstruate. It's like, unless you want to go get something you can cut yourself once a month between your legs with a razor blade, you're not going to menstruate if you want to go through the whole thing. Maybe you can get like a little plug put in a vein there and ask the doctor, can you put like one of those, how to people who get, they either get, what is it, chemo, or you get for your kidney dialysis, they leave that thing in your arm so you can plug it back in. Maybe they can get one of them inserted in the vagina or their new made vagina. So once a month they can just pull the plug out and just bleed so they can pretend that they're menstruating.
I think that might be a great business venture, Lee. It could be a menstruation conversion kit.
Yes. Like a vaginal plug.
Yeah, like a big tire conversion kit on a motorcycle. Yeah. It could be like so it could be like a menstruation conversion kit. You can make this little kit of razor blades and little guillotines and stuff, whatever.
I even think just like some sort of, when they put the IV in your arm, they put the needle in, but then they push the little tube up inside a vein inside their newly made vagina. And on the end of it, it has like one of those things that they plug a needle into. But it's just up inside your fold, inside you. So every month you can just pull the little flap open and blood would drip out.
There you go.
We're onto something. Here.
I think we have now solved the problem of all-inclusive menstruating people. We just sell a conversion kit.
It's going to now for our next one we come up with for Shark Tank, building this little microwave so they can put in their vagina and gestate a fetus could be a little bit harder. That's gonna take a bit more work.
That's gonna take a little more work. Wow, yeah. But could it be done? Maybe with a frog egg,
Well, not frogs. What is it?
I thought it was a frog. We're really close to the frog.
Is it tadpoles that are born male and female at first, or one of them? Or I can't remember.
I don't remember. It's very complicated.
Oh, Jesus, I didn't think humans were this complicated, but now with all the pronouns and 100 genders and this and that and SIF, is it SIF male or cis male or?
Cis. I can't even. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I don't know which one it is though. Faux male. I don't know. They look. I just want to know, what's the end game? What are you striving for? What do you want? I mean, the worldview, what does the world look like to you? What is it? Is it like all the rich people are dead and then everybody gets everything for free? Is that what they want? I mean, what do they want?
I don't know. It's like, how we see like Pelosi and AOC in public and that, and how they talk in public. I want to know what they're like when they go home. How do they speak when they're at home? How does their mind work? You know what they're saying to the cameras and saying to Congress and the Senate? I want to know is when they're at home, is that what they truly believe? Or do they really go home? Like, if you could put a hidden camera in their house, do they turn on the TV and go, oh man, we're really fucked. What the fuck's going on with this country? But then they get in front of the camera. Oh yeah, it's like, you're the problem, you're causing this. But when they get home and actually see it, how could you look at the news and see that border and this and that and go, oh, we're in great shape right now. Everything's great here. It's like, how could they see that?
Well, because probably right afterwards they look at their A.G. Edwards wealth management account, and then they count how many digits they got there, 8 or 9 of them, and they go, oh God, I feel good and I feel better now,
They'll be watching TV going, well, that's shitty. And AOC boyfriend goes, excuse me, Alexandra. Yes, who is it? George Soros is on the phone for you. Oh, okay. Yes. Okay. What do you want me to say? How much? How much you put in my account? Have no problem. Say it first thing in the morning. The first thing you see me on. What's seen in the morning? I'll put your message across. Thank you.
And then the whole news cycle the next day, every hour on the hour. That'll be the buzzword. Yep.
Well, it's even like that stupid dress she turned up in. Tax the rich on that dress.
Oh. Should have said smack my ass is what it should have said.
That was just like, oh my God. And then again, see all those people there, no masks, all the rich famous people, no masks.
And all the brown people serving them have masks on. How about that? You know, that's their party. That's their people. You know, and they'll vote for them. They will vote for them. They are mistreated so horrendously, and they still vote for them. They just
they say they do, but I don't see how you could. It's like, I still think, didn't they say Trump still had the majority of the black vote the last election and stuff, and more Hispanics voted for Trump. So I don't know. Like I said, this whole election thing is still so bullshit. But you're not allowed to say that, even though when Hillary and all these people lost, they said it wasn't a true election and they complained about it. But as soon as Trump said it wasn't a fair election, oh no, you can't say that. Pretty much, you could just look over the 4 years Trump was in. Everything they said about him, he's unhealthy, he's unfit, mentally unstable. Everything they said about Trump is true for Biden. It's like they predicted Biden's presidency. It's like, they did. My God.
It's pretty incredible. And, you know, when you look at the vast cabal of corruption that follows them around, we talk about one little incident here, Hunter Biden, and, you know, there's business dealings over here and selling the art and all of that. And that's, I mean, we all know that that's a scam. That's nonsense. But if that's all it was, I guess, you know, he's the president's kid, you know, you got to like give him a pass, whatever. But then it's everything else on top of it. And you go, wait a minute, you know, this is a little bit abusive here, you know.
But do you think if that was Trump's son, what pass would he have got?
Yeah, well, I don't even think. How do you even come up with that? How do you even think that you're going to blow paint through a straw, and that's going to be a $500,000 effort, you know, when you do that?
Because we know what straws he's using. Next time you see Hunter Biden on TV, he'll have red paint up his nose. You used the wrong straw, you dickhead.
You went the wrong way. You're supposed to blow out.
Straw. That's your paint straw, not your snorting straw.
Yeah, but I wonder how many times he got down the paint and went, "Oh, reflex! I went the wrong
way." And it's just like, I don't know, but even like I said, just everything at the moment. When I watch the Fox and some other ones, even here in Australia, when they're reporting on that, I'm looking at a photo here from Fox News. Texas lawmakers provide first-hand account of the crisis, and the photo I'm looking at. It's just this, you know, where the river is and you can walk across that bit. As far as the eye can see, it looks like the line outside of the Arnold Classic Expo before they opened the doors at 9 o'clock.
Right.
It's just like it's about 10 people wide and just goes all the way across the river and just spans out to this mass of people all coming to America.
Tens of thousands at a time. And they want them in. And that's the idea that they're deporting them is just bullshit. That's what I was trying to get at before we got off on a tangent. They said that they were deporting these Haitians back to Haiti. The flights left. 3 flights left. 3. Okay. Yeah. Out of 60,000 people there, 3 flights left. All right. These people weren't living in Haiti. They were living in South America. Why are you taking them to Haiti? Then the rest of them, they took a tour. They dumped them off in America somewhere. You know, the news report that they deported them is a lie. But you know, they just.
I guarantee if someone was smart enough to have one of those, you know, you can get those things where you can follow planes and shit on your computers and shit. I'm sure if somebody was smart enough to know what plane it was and actually followed it and tracked it where it landed or took off from, probably it's leaving McAllen, Texas right now, going back to Haiti. Oh, hold on, no, it's not. It's turned left. It's heading towards Idaho.
There you go. And now Idaho has some bumfuck town in Idaho has 10,000 new Haitians from way of South America living there with their hand out.
And that's the thing. What do they do with them when they put them on these buses? So I saw some even going on buses. Let's just say they take them from the border and take them somewhere. Let's just say they go from the border and let's just say we're going to take them to Tucson, Arizona. Once they drop them off, they say, okay, off you get. Then what? Do they have people there to give them housing, money, or what? Or do they just say, Off you go.
Oh no! They process them. They have processing centers. They look. They get a place to stay. They get food. They get blankets. They get clothes. They get everything they need. They're coming over here as a humanitarian.
It's probably like the ones that come here from countries. Well, the ones that come here from countries get treated better than the homeless and war veterans in Australia. They get pushed. Like, we've had people here waiting for public housing who have just been down on their luck, lost their jobs, or even some. I know that we have some domestic violence, but sometimes a woman could be in the domestic violence as she's living out of a car with a kid waiting for public housing. A lot of these people that come in, even like if they come in legally, as I said, fine. But we have a lot of illegals that will come in on the boats. They were getting pushed to the top of the housing list.
Yeah.
It's like, how does that happen? It's like, and they get their medical, and they get this, and they get that. It's like, here's your money for that.
It's going to happen here because those bleeding heart liberals are in charge of this stuff, and the level of corruption and lying and deceit is just off the chain, and it doesn't change anything. It's right out in front of you. It's right in our faces, and they just push it through. And we're saying, but wait a minute. And everybody's saying, nope. It's got to be this way. Get vaccinated. Just get vaccinated and shut up.
Let's put one of those buses. Let's put a bus load in AOC's neighborhood or something like that, or Pelosi's neighborhood.
Never
Open the gates. Open the gates. We've got a bus load of people coming in. But here at the moment, they're still going on about if they hit their target rate of vaccination here, because now they're saying, we've got a shop here called Best and Less, a big clothing shop. They're going to say they're not going to open if you're not vaccinated, you can't shop there. And now there's one guy, he owns a lot of the things like Just Jeans and all these stores. He's saying what shopping centers need to do, rather than the little stores do it individually, to actually get access to the big shopping mall, you've got to scan in at the door to say that you're vaccinated before you can come into the mall.
The entire mall itself.
Yeah, the entire mall itself. And even people are saying, how can this work? Because you've got to have 2 shots to be double vaccinated. It's going to alienate a lot of people who can't get vaccinated. And America is probably the same as Australia. If the numbers are correct, and I'm trying to work it out, since Delta hit 6 months ago, we've had 55,000 more people infected. And if you've been infected here in Australia, I'm not sure if it's the same in America, you can only have 1 shot. So in the last 6 months, 55,000 people have got it. They can only have 1 shot. But to get the passport to go into all these venues, you've got to have 2 shots. But so there's 55,000 people right there who will not be able to go to shop. Now, let's not count how many thousands and thousands who they told us were infected last year.
Right.
So if you can only have 1 shot, you won't be able to go into these places. To get your government passport, you've got to have 2 shots of the same drug. You can't even have them. You can't have AstraZeneca and Pfizer. It's got to be 2 Pfizer, 2 AstraZeneca.
Oh, really?
And then you get your green tick. So even the government, you can hear in their voice now, because England, they dropped the passport. A lot of countries have dropped it, and they're interviewing this one guy from Parliament in England. They say, what happened with the passport? He goes, well, we thought it would work. We'd give it a try, but it didn't work. And then he goes, then why did you even suggest it? He goes, you know why we suggested it? They got more people vaccinated. So that's still what they're trying to do here, is scare people into, if you don't have this passport, you won't be able to live your life normally. So people are rushing out to get it. But in the end, even she was sort of saying yesterday, when we hit 80%, the vaccinated people go back to life, to normal. The ones who aren't vaccinated, we're not too sure yet when we'll be given their freedoms back. I'm like, we live in a, what do you mean freedoms back? Don't we live in a fucking free country?
But the whole point is if this vaccine works, and I have it, I'm protected. It's exactly. Like if I don't need to worry about if you have it. If you want, that's your deal.
Exactly.
The idea that I have to have it because you might get it, because it just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. There's no scientific rationale for everybody having to be vaccinated. The vaccine is to prevent the vaccinated person from getting whatever disease. So smallpox, you get vaccinated for smallpox, you don't get smallpox. ever. You get vaccinated for polio, you don't get polio, ever. You get vaccinated for COVID-19, well, maybe you'll get it, maybe.
But you just won't get as sick, they say. You just
maybe you won't get as sick. You might not get sick for so long. All of which they have no way of knowing. You know, you can say, well, on the average, they haven't tested it long enough to have.
Well, that's the thing. They had a thing on the news the other day, urging pregnant women to come forward. Now, come forward, pregnant women, and so one of the reporters said, well, what about side effects or effects on pregnant women? And they're like, well, there's been nothing to show that it affects them. I'm thinking, it hasn't been around long. I don't think the vaccine's been around 9 months to go through a total birth period. And who's to say then, once that child's born, a year or two down the track, that child doesn't have something from the vaccine. So to say, oh, women should get it, there's been no adverse reactions from it. I was like, you don't know that yet.
No. You know what I find interesting is that the doctors push the vaccine. I get into arguments with doctors all the time, you know, online or in person. My wife was at the gynecologist the other day, and her doctor's trying to tell her, get vaccinated. You got to get the vaccine. Gives her this whole song and dance about the vaccine. The guy I went to get my hernia fixed, same thing. You got to get a vaccine. And you know who's adamantly against it? The nurses. All the nurses, the frontline people, they're against it. All the nurses I know don't get it, don't get it, don't get it. They're blowing whistles. They're on news channels all over the place. This vaccine's crazy. They get side effects. They see it all firsthand. And they're the ones saying, don't get it. While the doctors are saying, get it. You know, very few doctors.
I just put a video up on Instagram. That's this older lady. She's going through her purse. She looks all flustered. She's gone to McDonald's, and there's a woman on the door at McDonald's. I need to see a vaccination thing to come into McDonald's. And she's going through her purse. She's like, I have this. And she goes, no, that's not it. You need that. And someone's filming going, come on, this isn't right or whatever. I put on Instagram and I put underneath it. I said, if McDonald's was that worried about your fucking health, they wouldn't serve fat and obese people.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, no, but she wants to see her card that she's been vaccinated so she can go buy a Big Mac and buy a Big Mac.
So the doctor tells me there's, you know, the 50% of the people, you know, in the ICU or COVID are unvaccinated. I go, really? He goes, well, yeah, but I also have to be, if I'm being honest, I got to tell you, they're all obese too.
Yeah.
So
every one of them here now. Yep. Everyone that's died here, at the end they say 80-year-old underlying, even the 20-year-olds underlying problems. 40-year-old underlying problems. It's like, I haven't heard one person or know of anyone like who's been super healthy like you or me and got COVID and just dropped dead.
Well, see, according to CNN, the healthy 16-year-old girl, you know, died of COVID. Then you see a picture of the healthy 16-year-old girl, and she weighs 400 pounds. So,
but then you had you saw those protests in Melbourne, didn't you? They've been going on the last few days. Well, there's another one yesterday. They're at the War Memorial and that protesting. And then today on the news, breaking news, one of the protesters from the protest yesterday, gravely ill and rushed to the hospital. Now, wait a minute. Most people don't know they've got COVID. And when the ones that get it, they say it has this gestation period that comes on. Then you maybe in a week, oh, I don't feel good, I got a fever, your breathing's weird, and a couple of days later it's harder to breathe and you go to the hospital. This person was at the protest yesterday, the news tells me, and this morning they're rushed to the hospital from COVID. I mean, this shit just dropping you now. Like, it's like, how does it, it's never affected anyone that quick before. You wouldn't even need to get tested. You'd be like, oh, I think I got COVID. Oh, I have got COVID. Like, well, how's this even? A friend of mine, she's actually an ex I dated a long time ago. My friend, I don't follow her, but my friend, his girlfriend follows her. Her husband, 3 days ago, got tested. He had no symptoms, but he got tested for his work. Positive for COVID. Yesterday, 3 days later, he got tested again, negative. And he's got both results.
That PCR test is so inaccurate, you know, and it's the gold standard. You know, I have a guy. What was it? Who did he tell me his name? What he was doing? I forgot where he was exactly, but he was going to get tested. Him and his wife, and they're in the it was taking too long, so they figured they'll just they checked it. That's what it was. They checked in and they were waiting, and it was taking forever, and they decided to leave. So they left and they didn't get tested. They got notified by the phone that night that they tested positive. And he's saying, "Wait a minute, I didn't even get tested." You know,
I said it's just totally crazy. But I want someone to ask that of the Premier, because, like I said, in the last 5-6 months since we've been in this silly new lockdown from Delta, there's been 55,000 new people affected. So last year there must have been over 100,000. So let's just say 200,000 people in Australia caught COVID, and they can only have the one shot. Well, there's 200,000 people who will not be able to live life as normal because they cannot get a passport, because they cannot have 2 shots. Medical people have said if you've had COVID, you can only get 1 shot. So this whole, like I said, the guy in England said they had to get rid of it. I know Spain doesn't have it. I know European countries had to get rid of their passport. I think Australia's still trying to hang on to push the vaccination numbers up. But all these stores that say they're going to lock people out, their businesses are going to go to shit. Because imagine if I'm in a coffee shop somewhere here and you're visiting, I'm at the front having a coffee, you come walking by, "Hey, John, how you going?" And sit down. If I'm vaccinated and you're not, you wouldn't be able to sit there and chat and have coffee to me.
Exactly.
Like, you can't start separating people. It's bad enough with the race baiting they got going on. Now you're going to do this bloody... And as I said on one of my Instagram things, I come up with this great idea. Us vaccinated people can do anything, and so we can distinguish the unvaccinated. I said we'll put a yellow Star of David on them. But then I thought, oh, fuck, that's been done. That's been done. So I've got to come up with a new idea. That's what I said. I've got to come up with a new idea. That I'm talking about with all this shit going on now with the COVID, and they're going to lock you down and shit like that. I said, if you're looking for me, John, I'm going to be up in the attic writing the fucking diary.
Well, remember the Dr. Seuss book, The Star-Bellied Sneetches?
Yeah, yeah.
That's the way it should be. If you're you get a star tattooed on your stomach if you get vaccinated.
Wasn't that the star ones thought they were better than the other ones, but then they come to realize they're all the same. Doesn't matter.
Well, because this guy showed up with a machine that would print a star on your belly for X amount of money. So then they saw them getting the stars, and they go, "Wait a minute, this is no good. We got to." It's like the mask. So everybody's wearing a mask now. We got to change to the vaccine because we got a virtue signal.
Hold on. Scrap the star idea. I got a better idea. We can tattoo it on your arm.
There you go. Right here.
Hold on, that's been done. That's been done too. Fuck. This freaking Hitler guy took all my fucking ideas.
Now imagine Hitler if he was in charge of COVID-19.
Oh my God. I think Hitler is in charge of COVID-19. I think that some people don't believe in reincarnation, but whoever's pulling these strings is they're either playing from the Hitler or Stalin handbook or something going on here. It's like, but yeah, this whole locking people out. Yeah, this whole idea now we're going to put it on the malls doors. So once you go inside the mall, you got 4 levels of shops and different shops. They said the police. Store owners would have to probably hire someone to stand on the door. In the food court, each restaurant would have to have someone on the door. So he goes, just at the main entrances, we'll have a thing that where you got to scan in and it gives a green light. So you can go. Really?
So now hockey, if you play hockey, you're fucked too, because now the New York Islanders are requiring vaccination or you can't play.
We're not trying to do that here in Australia. The rugby players, I heard on the news today, they're trying to bring in, if you play rugby, it's the same. That's like NFL in America, but it's the same here. Like everyone loves it. I wasn't going to say about pads, but it's just like it's Australia's sport, rugby league or cricket. Right. You have like baseball and NFL. Yeah, but now they're saying if these rugby players don't get vaccinated, they're going to tear up their contracts. I'm like,
yeah, how about that? It's the same thing. Now they brought it to the NFL, and the NFL Players Union said, "Nah, we're not going to do that." So they stuck up for the players. All right. So, the hockey league's got some shit representation, but you can't, from New York. I mean, what else are you going to expect? In New York, everything's all ass backwards anyway. So,
but I just don't see how any business or anything. Look, I understand. Yes, if you're a doctor or a nurse sometimes, and you're in the front line where you're around diseases, yes, get certain vaccines so you don't catch something or you don't give it to somebody else. If you're in that sort of environment where you're working with diseased people all day long. But just for a general person who, like I said, you run Abercrombie Fitch, how can the owner of that store tell your workers you can't come to work unless you're vaccinated?
right.
It's like, do you ask them have you vaccinated? Have you had your flu shot this year? Excuse me, can you show me? I need to know whether you're HIV positive if you work here. Right. What are you going to do? Go through every disease known to mankind that you still? Excuse me, did you go get checked for syphilis or any STDs this last month? I need to see your report on that. It's like, how stupid is it? You wouldn't be able to do that. You couldn't ask someone, are you HIV positive? If you are, you can't work here.
It's none of anyone's business.
Exactly.
It's none of anyone's business. It's nobody's business what vaccines I have, what medications I take, what artificial parts I have. It's whatever's going on in my body is none of anybody's business. I'm not sick and I'm not getting you sick, and that's all you got to worry about. You got to worry about you not getting sick. So
be like, have you taken any prescription meds before you come into my restaurant or store? Have you had any puffs on the marijuana? Have you had anything like? How many drinks have you had? Have you had one drink? I'm sorry.
Or how about this?
People.
How about this? You want to really step out on a limb? Yeah, you want to come into my restaurant? Do you have many mental health issues? And if you do, are you taking medication for it? And if you've been prescribed medication for it? And if you have you taken your medication today?
Exactly, because I'm not saying you will. But I have a full restaurant tonight. And if you happen to have an episode where you go off and you grab one of the steak knives or you do something, I'll be responsible. So if you have had mental problems and stuff, and are you seeing a psychiatrist now, and have you had all your sessions, so I know that you can come in, because I just can't have you going crazy in my restaurant and all of a sudden either shooting or stabbing people. And
then whatever logical argument you want to wage against this, the standard answer is, well, that's our policy. That's the policy. Yeah. That's you don't have to eat here. That's our policy. We can't let you in. So the only way that that's going to gain any teeth is that if everybody says, fuck this, I'm not going to go do that.
Exactly.
And just not and drive. And if they're faced with being driven out of business, I guarantee you they're going to stand up to.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what a few people are saying on the radio here, because a few people are calling in saying, look, just whether you believe it or not, they said, look, I'm not for it or against it, but there's things, because they travel overseas, and generally to travel overseas, they're going to make you have it. But they said, just for in my own country, they said, one guy said, look, I went off to war and I fought in Vietnam and shit here in Australia. He goes, yeah, I've had the vaccines, but he goes, even though I've had the vaccines, I don't want to prove every time I go into a store to buy a loaf of bread, or if I want to go into this store and buy a T-shirt, just to walk into stores, I don't want to have to pull out something and show that I'm vaccinated to go into this store and spend my money and have to show that I'm vaccinated. He goes, I don't want to have to do that. He goes, and I know lots of people who are vaccinated who also don't want to show their passport. Yes, we went out, we did what you said, we got vaccinated like good little citizens, but now when I go around, I don't want to have to show my passport to some snotty-nosed 17, 18-year-old going, you can't come in here unless you show me you've had your shots. It's like, piss off.
It's the ultimate virtue signaling, but by the party who's adamantly against virtue signaling. But I'm vaccinated. I'm better than you. I can go in here. I can enjoy all these freedoms. I can do this. And you could do it too if you were vaccinated, but you're not vaccinated like me. So you can't participate in any of these, fun things. You can't go to a club. You can't go to a pub. You can't go to a game, a concert. You can't go fly. You can't do anything because you're not vaccinated. So,
and to me, you're right. This is, like I said, this is way worse than, remember when they were trying to, and they were saying how to just showing your voter ID was racist. It's like, this is tenfold worse than
100 times
that.
worse.
I mean, that was just to vote. And you should show your ID to vote. We have to here. Everyone should. That's just to vote. If you didn't vote, you could still go shopping in the restaurants. This is like excluding you from living your fucking life.
And nobody gets it. You know, they have these idiot newscasters, on CNN and MSNBC that just trumpet the message of the left, and they're all like they try to make people feel that, that's why I say the ultimate virtue signaling, because if you don't have a vaccine, they want to paint you out to be the devil. You're crazy. There's something wrong with you. Why won't you do this to help protect your fellow human being? There's got to be something, off about you. And all because you don't want to get an unproven experimental drug.
You're going to kill people if you don't get it. It's like, I could kill people hopping in my car driving to work each day. And what I saw, what's his name they're going on about? I saw a clip where Don Lemon and Cuomo on TV, where they were pretty much saying that, talking like the anti-vaxxers were the antichrist, and we're going to go kill people and do this and do that. And hey, you're not American. How could you go living in America and knowing that you're not vaccinated and spreading this disease? Well, newsflash, as you said, vaccinated people can still spread the disease too. It doesn't stop anything. It's like, it's nothing. It doesn't do anything.
They're saying it's about 50% effective. So, I mean, this is what science is saying. So you basically can't have a scientific argument with a liberal, because the other side, the pro-vax people, it's not like I'm against. I mean, I am against the vaccine only in the sense that it's not ready yet. That's what I'm against. The rush. Okay, I'm not against vaccines. I think vaccines are a great thing. They're a tremendous tool. I think for people who are at risk, there's a definite avenue there for you, but it's your choice. There's no cramming it down my throat to take a drug that's ineffective. Basically, they want to compensate for the drug's ineffectiveness by making everybody take it, so that you get the most bang for your buck. And
that's the thing too. I don't really know, out of all my friends who haven't taken it, and everyone I hear talk on different things, I would probably say 98% of them are not anti-vaxxers.
No,
they're like you and other people. They just said it hasn't been proven. It's not really doing anything, so why take it? If you're healthy and you haven't got underlying problems, you're 99.96% chance of surviving it, so I don't need the vaccine. I probably wouldn't even know I've got the thing. So, most people I know, they're not anti-vax. As I said, it's just still like an experimental drug. I'm sure if they came out and said, look, we've got this vaccine, here's a person with COVID, we gave it to them, and look at this, boom, COVID's gone and they can't get it again, people probably go, okay, fine, give it to me. I'll take it. But when people are still getting it, people who have even double vaxxed have died, it's like them, just wait. But I said, but they're not. I said, I don't know really anyone that's anti-vax. As you said, they're just not sure. I said, there's still things happening. Some people have died, had bad reactions, blood clots. The younger kids have had stuff with their heart getting inflamed. Who knows yet with younger children or pregnant women? It's just like, so how's that being anti-vax? You're just being cautious. And it's like you too. It's also, as people said, they don't want to be told, if you don't get it, you can't go to the movies. If you don't get it, you can't go to the gym. It's like, to me, that's un-American. It's un-Australian. It's like, that's just getting rid of all your freedoms and just saying, pretty much like I said, if you don't get vaccinated, life as you knew it is gone. Until you get vaccinated, you're not going to have a life. You just have to stay at home and do whatever, shop online. That's it. You can't go to the parks. You can't go out and associate with your friends because you choose not to take it.
Now in New York, they're having to go through this show your papers thing, and it's not going over very well. People are, restaurant. The thing is, they've already attacked the restaurant business. They've made them spend money on retrofitting their facilities to accommodate outside dining in places where you can't do it. I mean, on the sidewalk and shit. They've had to put air filtration systems in that supposedly, how to do a better job filtering the air and the pathogens out of the air. They had to they've had to diminish the amount of service space they have because of the social distancing. You know, in New York, they cram tables into a restaurant. I mean, you're bumping elbows with the people next to you. I can imagine.
I haven't been in New York restaurants. You go to the toilet, you push your seat back. Oh, sorry. It's like,
you're literally like this in a restaurant in New York. All right. And so now they got a social distance. So they've already diminished their capacity and they've social distance. Now they've gone from 100%. Now they're like around 50%. And now what they wanted, because of the added expenses for everything, now they're at this point, and now they're saying, well, you got to make people prove they've been vaccinated. Well, there's another 50% of the people gone because half of the people aren't going.
The vaccinated people here now are starting to get sick of all this, the way these shops are saying you got to be vaccinated. Because like I said, I went out, got vaccinated. I don't have to prove that I've been vaccinated for any other thing to come into your store and that sort of thing. So why this? And it's just not going to work. But, you said they're putting in all these air purifiers. You probably follow the money trail. Well, look, AOC has shares in this company that does air purifications in buildings and shit like that. It's like, small business here. Small business here is hanging on by a thread. Some are, I don't know how they're making it, but a lot of them, and they said today, oh, small business, we appreciate you going through this. The Premier said, I know it's hard now, but just look on the bright side. When things open back up, you're going to do great because people are going to just want to come out and want to do this. And I'm thinking, oh, bullshit. I said, it's going to take them probably a couple of years to fucking recover.
I mean, the restaurant business is an extremely costly business. You have to tie up a lot of money in equipment, supplies, staff. Your supplies have to constantly be reordered because they go bad. You have perishable items. It's a very, very difficult business, and it's always run on a shoestring. With all of this that's going on, it's no wonder so many of them gone out of business. They can't stay in business. They can't stick around for this nonsense to end. They're going to be gone. There's not going to be anybody to go out and go visit again. No restaurants to go to. They're going to be
like I said, here the ones that are just hanging on here, like I said, they're going to have loans to pay back because they've had to take out other loans to keep paying their rent or their staff, or some have trucks for catering and stuff. So they're doubling up. So when they do get back open, they're going to have bills this high before they even start breaking even or getting somewhere again. So here's this Premier saying, oh, you're going to do great because people are going to rush out and throw money at you. Yeah, but be like, they're throwing money at me, but now before I'd break even, make some money because my bills a month. So let's just say my bills every month were 40,000. Now because of this shit, my bills every month are now 140,000 because I got to pay all this shit back, and the interest rates now gone up. Yeah, they might have some places I know they did put their leases on hold, but it just gets added on to the end. So there's just all this interest that's going to accumulate. They didn't get 6 months free rent. It's been put on further with bigger interest rates later on. So,
and if they go out of business, they're going to have to declare bankruptcy, and then they're going to be put in a receivership. They'll never get another business loan again. They're fucked for life. They're done.
And then they'll be on unemployment. The government will have to pay them benefits, so it's going to cost the government more.
Exactly. Well, it's apparently what they want. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's depressing.
Oh, well, now we're all depressed.
Yeah. Perfect.
Hey, but our show's still up. The last show we put up on YouTube is still up.
Is it? Number 9 is still up? Wow. Yeah. Now, what about IG? Did you get your Instagram back?
No. The person that's doing that for me is like...
They got COVID?
Off in La La Land. It's one of those people that has lots of money and it's not on their priority list. It's like... one of these young IT guys that makes a ton of money, like 30,000 a week, and they're just like, like, well, thanks. They said, oh, but I do know someone else who would do it, but you'll have to pay him. I'm thinking, I don't give a fuck if I got to pay him. I want the account.
Could you imagine if when you were 14, somebody said to you, there's this new technology coming out, this new industry coming out, and all you got to do is get good at knowing how to, play games, use computers, get on the internet, and you'll make $50,000 a month. And if someone had told me that, I think bodybuilding would have been not even something I would have.
Number 9 still up free. Yeah, it's been up for just coming on 3 days, and almost got 860 views.
Not bad.
Yeah, the one before it, the one that we put up a month ago, had 2.4 thousand. So
wow.
We're going good before YouTube jumped in and took us down.
Well, we're coming back, and Rumble's helped a little bit.
Yes.
You got
Rumble's hard to work out. I just Dave just started me and him a TikTok account. It's called, like I said, 666. So we're taking bets on how long before we get kicked off TikTok.
Oh man.
I just posted a video on TikTok, and that's even worse. I don't know how these young kids master TikTok and do the shit on there. I just put up a video then. I'm like, how the fuck do I post this? And
I know. Well, but apparently it's bigger than Instagram. My son said you got to get on TikTok. It's the new.
Because I reckon people are making just as much money on TikTok as they are on YouTube.
Yeah. Yep. They are.
Yeah. I wonder how we do stuff on TikTok.
We need some young IT person that's out there who's probably never listening to us that should help us out. Help us get
preferably Haitian that works for cheap.
Yes, it's free. You got to work.
John has a shed in the backyard. Stay in.
I think maybe between the two of us, we could rustle them up some free supplements every month. Or
and I'm going to be over, next year, I'll be over in May 30th for my induction into the Venice Beach Hall of Fame. So when I'm over there, I'm going to come over a few days before, but I'm going to try and stay for a week or two after, so I can travel around and visit everyone. I might have to come out and see you, John.
You might have to. I'll put you up in the Jimmy the Bull's guest room.
Hey, Jimmy, speaking of Jimmy, since Jimmy's had my number, we've been talking and
he told me
every day videos. I got moon videos. Next week when I'm on the show, John, prepared to be mind blown.
Oh no, I'm ready. I can't wait. But he told me you're coming on the show.
He showed me the experiments he's been doing. John.
Yep.
And he can't believe it, because I'll go out and say, Jimmy, look, we'll be on the phone together. Here's the sun and the moon. Can you see the sun? And Jimmy's like, I see it. Why, that fucking John, wait till he sees this. How the fuck can you be looking at the sun and I'm looking at the fucking sun and you're down under? Then he gets the globe out late at night. He had his torch on the globe going.
He's shining a flashlight at the globe. See, it's dark.
Yeah. He's got pins in it where he's in York and where I am in Australia. He goes, look, we're both in the fucking dark. How can we both be seeing the sun?
Oh, he's so funny. Oh my God. Well,
yeah.
All right. So I guess we're over an hour. We got to end this.
Yep.
So I got no room. All right, guys, subscribe, comments, the usual stuff.
Yes. And make sure you like and subscribe quick. We didn't say nothing bad this time.
No, we were good this time.
Oh, we mentioned AOC.
We did.
We might get us pulled down. We're going to have to come up. What we'll do is we're going to have to write down a code sheet.
Well, yes. Oh man, Lee, I really fucked up. I said about AOC and her dress should have said "smack that ass," right? Now she's going to. No. Now that she's going to think I tried to, that she thought she was going to get raped.
I gotta say, to her, that's rape, John.
I really fucked up. The violence. I'm going to get violence against women.
That's abuse, rape.
Holy shit, I really fucked up.
Oh my God. And we mentioned the period bleeding. Oh
my God. Menstruating people. And
I'm glad we didn't touch on abortion. That would have really
conversion kit. Oh man. We're screwed. This show isn't gonna stay up.
Like and subscribe, like it quick, comment quick.
Quickly. See, all right, guys.
Like a 24-hour window. You gotta get in.
You gotta hurry up.
The one that got taken down, I had so many things. What happened to the show? It's only halfway through it. What happened to this? I got so many messages. Where did the show go? I always save it to watch later, and it's gone. I'm like, I got that put down.
We should try just putting it up again and see what happens.
We should. I don't even know. It wasn't any different to any other show. That's why I don't get it.
Some lunatic listened to it, and I don't even know how they do this. I really don't. Is there a guy in a room that watches our show and then determines whether
I don't know. Does someone watch, or does it play somewhere in the fucking magical world, and does the algorithm pick up on words? And
even then, there's got to be like maybe a combination of the two. Maybe they filter them out with a computer that looks for words, and then they have some people listen to parts of them or something. I don't know.
We use the same words pretty much all the time, so I think
that's true. That's true.
For us to have like 9 shows or 10 shows, now only have one bean, that would be pretty weird.
Yeah. I mean, like
it should be like one show up and 9 beans.
we may get to that very soon. All right, Lee.
Okay, John.
I'll see you next week.
And now we've got it worked out how to post it on YouTube as well. So we shouldn't have that yet.
Yep.
I know we're talking about before about needing a tech guy. That was funny that day between you and me trying to work out how to put that. Do I know?
It wasn't that. It was where you were getting your messages sent. We had no way of verifying
to my dead friend's phone.
Right. We had to fix that.
And then I'm trying to work out this, and I'm going from one email back to another email. Then it's asking for a password. It's been sent to this thing, and then I finally went into a thing that says you can change the phone number. And then as I'm trying to change it, it logged out, and I'm like, where the fuck did it go? I had to try find it again, and I logged back in. Oh, there it is. Okay, copy this code because it sent a code to me. And just as I went to put the code in, it disappeared. I'm like, where the fuck did it go? Oh, I tell you.
Modern technology. All right. All right. See you, Nelly. Thank you.
I'll see you on the World Flat Earth Show.
On the Flat Earth Show. I can't wait. I can't wait till Tuesday.
I'm going to build a lunar lander. I've got a bit of cardboard and some aluminium foil. I'm going all out. I'm building the lunar module.
The LEM. Yeah. And you gotta figure out how they filmed it.
Mm-hmm. And how it lit up and how it's lit up in the shadows. And
yeah, he doesn't get that they left the camera on the moon.
I'm gonna have to call up Kubrick and find out. Figure
that one out.
Oh boy, it's going to be a fun show, that one.
Oh yeah, I can't wait.
Better have a few.
Absolutely.
You better be as high as a kite. Jimmy's got all the experiments. He's got charts. He's got the globes. He's got fucking. Oh boy, it's going to be a doozy.
I'll make sure I'm baked.
You better be. Just sit there like this. Yeah.
Oh, more shit.
Yeah, Jimmy. Yeah, I see it now, Jimmy. I see it.
It'll be even funnier if he's pulled over on the side of the expressway with his truck.
No, I think he's going to be at home because he wants to show you the globe experiment and everything. So,
with the flashlight.
I'm not sure if he's going to be out on the, unless he's going to take photos or videos and have it all written down. But
we got to come up with an answer. He wants to know why they never put a camera facing out of the spaceship. It's always back down to Earth.
On the top of the rocket.
Yeah, on top of the rocket, facing up. Why do they never put a camera facing up?
Because the wind would blow it off.
No, they did. They have it. They have it at NASA. So you can log on and watch it. He's so funny.
That's fake, John.
I know.
That's not real.
Oh man,
that's going to be a good one.
It is. I can't wait.
I'm looking forward to it.
Me too.
Oh, there's another funny thing. The travel here, you can travel outside 5Ks, or you can't travel outside 5Ks. Tomorrow, they want me to go to Sydney to test this new camera out for a fight scene for the movie I'm doing next year. So I'm thinking, fuck, I've got to go to Sydney. If I get caught, I've got to pay $5,000 fine. So I thought, oh, wait a minute, you can get like this pass to travel. So if you get pulled over by the police, you show the pass, they scan it, it says you're allowed to travel. So I go on the government website. Where's the address of where you're going? It has options. Address unknown, could be multiple addresses. So I clicked that, and then it says where you're going. I went, oh, fuck if I know. I'm going to a gym somewhere, but I put Sony Studios Australia, put that in, put in my name, blah, blah, blah. How long do I want this pass for? 2 weeks. Put send. Within 1 minute, here is your travel pass.
That's it?
Yeah, I'm like, what's the point of having this fucking... I didn't know I could do this.
Well, there you go. Try now forever.
I know. I'm gonna maybe get a few printed off and sell them to people. Hey, where do you want to go? Where do you want to go?
You don't even have to. It's free. Wow.
I know. Yeah, it's just on the government website. So now I've got this pass. If I get pulled over, It has one of those little barcode things the police can scan it. Because I'll probably, as I go to Sydney, there's always highway police. So if they run my number plate, they'll go, address Newcastle. Oh, wait a minute, he's 100 kilometres from home. We have a live one.
We have a defector.
Yeah.
He's
escaping from New York.
He's escaped.
Exactly.
Oh, man.
Okay.
All right, Lee. Enjoy.
Good night.
Good night. Have a great day.
Okay. Bye.
Right. Bye.